So, so it's not bolted properly, so I'd have to bolt it. Approximate cost on doing that?
Um, 2,500 bucks or
Okay.
something, yeah.
Okay, that's not so bad. And then
I
if
don't
I
do
did
that,
bolt
by the
it to
way,
the, okay, if I,
unless an engineer drew it. I don't do anything on a house unless an engineer drew it.
so I need to bring an engineer into the mix.
So that, well, when you do something, you have to have an engineer. One,
Yeah.
it's structural work. Two, I don't do anything that they don't bless, so
Yeah.
that I have somebody to throw rocks at too.
Yeah. So, so the foundation being bolted, is it even helpful with the cracks in the thing? Is it still help? Is it still a good thing to do if I don't fix the rest?
Primarily, your foundation has got nails in every block, every joist, all the way around. It's not gonna shift off the foundation, it's already been through several earthquakes.
Yeah.
What happens when they're not bolted is they pop off the foundation if you have underpinning. You can put them in, the retrofit hardware, it's about, I believe it's like $40 a piece or something like that, and you use these SDS screws to screw into the mud sill, or you can use the hurricane clips that tie to the joist and then bolt to the foundation. But personally, I think that's kind of a waste of money, but you know, whatever. The place
And
that's
am I
in trouble-
required to do it by the city or anything like that? Is
you
nobody
don't-
gonna
You're
make
not
me?
required to do anything until you ask to do something. Then they put stipulations on it.
Right, right, okay.
The grade beams, if those were replaced, those would have to have the shear walls because they're short. There's this much room between the top of the grade beam and the bottom of the joist.
Mhm.
So they would have to have shear walls, earthquake proofing and all this stuff on those two shear walls, on those two grade beams, but not the perimeter. But that would probably, an engineer none I know of, well, maybe Cully, would draw two grade beams for you and earthquake proof them, bring them up to code without doing something to the perimeter foundation. So they'd probably add the bolting just to bring it up to code as
Mhm.
far as contact with the foundation goes.
So if I just assumed I got $100,000 in work on
Yeah.
on the foundation, is that a really safe number? Is that like
I'd make it
all the
100
little
and a quarter. if it
100
was
and
me,
quarter?
Yeah.
Okay. If I really want to fix it.
'Cause I'm guessing at what, you know, the guy charges for under this house, and,
Yeah.
you know, I'm guessing at the drainage, you know, I'm
Yeah.
guessing at.
I know a lot
the
of it's a
waterproof
guess, but it's good for
membrane.
me to have a general idea
Mhm.
of what I'm looking at. Okay. Anything else I should know about it? No, I'm always
I
know the
just think
right
it
questions
needs,
to ask.
it just needs surface and subsurface drainage, and it needs backup pumps under the house for capillary water, cause you're in a high water table.
Mhm.
And it needs moisture protection to keep the moisture from evaporating and rising through your house. And the grade beams are shot, and if you wanna enhance the ability of the perimeter foundation, you can do that, by putting a waterproof membrane on and widening the footings,
Okay.
or pouring a wall next to it.
Yeah.
That would leave the house in the same position, however.
And I think you may have given me a cost for this, but if I just wanted to fill in those cracks because the bank made me or whatever,
Fill in what cracks?
the cracks in the actual foundation.
You mean, yeah, sack 'em,
I don't know what that
that's
means.
what we call it.
Just fill them in
No,
with
we,
caulking.
yeah, no, if we have a crack, we use a non-shrink grout, and we sack them in with a sponge trowel, so they're cementitious in nature.
Does that basically mean you're injecting cement in?
Now
In
you're
the hole?
scrubbing it in with a sponge.
Okay, but either way, it's getting in there.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah.
attach the two pieces back together.
Oh, no, God,
No.
no, no, it's just gonna cover the crack.
Oh, so it doesn't actually help
There's
to
a
do it.
reason for the crack.
That's what you have to focus on.
Yes, no matter what you put in there, it very probably is not going to stop the continual cracking. You
So-
can epoxy eject, which simply means the epoxy is going to bond to one piece and the other and fill the hole. But when whatever is causing it to crack reapplies its forces, it's gonna pop the epoxy off the
Okay,
top or the bottom.
Okay,
if the forces are severe enough.
So let's say the joists were fixed,
Yeah,
what do you do with the crack?
Joyce, you mean the grade beams?
Probably, yeah.
The grade beams?
The big beams that we're gonna
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
in
the
for
grade beams, grade
5 to 6K.
Yeah,
Once you bring those in,
yeah.
what do you do with that old crap? You just leave it, or do you do something with it?
Well, then you
They're in
would
the
fill it
dump
and then
truck.
it just.
No, he's saying fill it doesn't really do any good.
Well,
No.
if you fix the
Wait,
reason that
let
it's
me-
causing,
Yeah,
if you fix the reason
If
that
I
it's
fix
causing
it,
the
they're
crack,
no
then you
longer
fill
here.
it and then it will stay sealed.
if I
You're
fix
saying
those,
two different things.
hold on, if I fix those 2 grade beams, the cracks and everything related to them are at the dump.
But aren't the cracks in the actual cement foundation?
They're
Or they
in
in
the
the
grade beam. Okay,
Okay, that's
if we
something I don't
replace
understand.
the 2 failed grade beams.
Yeah,
By replacement, I mean the removal
right.
and replacement. There are no more.
Okay,
cracks
I thought the
in
cracks were in the
She's
outer
talking about
foundation.
perimeter
There's
foundation.
horizontal cracks in the perimeter foundation too, but
Okay.
it doesn't have the problem that
I got it.
that the grade beams.
So
do.
if the grade beams are replaced, the
Mhm.
horizontal cracks in the
Mhm.
perimeter foundation,
Mhm.
do those need to be fixed?
The perimeter needs to be sacked probably. I didn't see them all. I just took a good look around. I didn't crawl every inch. There's places where your pipes are in the way,
Okay.
and
So sacking it would fix it.
no, you sandblast and sack and enhance your foundation, and that's what I was talking about with while you have your drain line dug around the perimeter, you drill down epoxy into the foundation and pour an additional grout enhancement to the outside to cover it. Then your foundation's thicker, so it'll take a second story, and it stops the water from coming through, and it mitigates the problem you're having. Primarily is water migrating through your foundation. That's what's causing the problem.
Okay.
It's not vibrated, so it's porous. So water and
So overwhelmed.
water and oxygen are getting to your rebar and causing it to swell and pop. So the only way to fix that is to sandblast it, drill down an epoxy at each end, put a new piece of rebar in, and then pour concrete up against it after you scarify it and put bonderizer on it. It's I can write all that
I'll
down.
definitely need a report in writing.
Well, actually, all you need to know is what
I don't
you're
need it
looking
right
at
now, but
cost-wise.
I think
you
I'll
don't
end up
need
doing
to know
it.
everything I know. You just need to know how much this shit costs.
Yeah.
What do you want to learn in the terminology for it? It won't help you, right?
Well, if I buy the house, I think it will help me because then I'll start pricing it out. And
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, if you put 2 new grade beams in, those are gone. Those are the big cracks. Those are the big ones. The grade beams. They're weak. The concrete's popping off.
The
of
rest
it.
is
Yeah. The rest is not bad, except for its water problem. The water's migrating
Gotcha.
through that foundation, bringing the salts with it.
but we can
and
fix that
oxygen.
another way.
Yeah, we can
Got it.
fix that from the outside.
Okay.
And do some sacking on the inside. Then you can tie in your anchor bolts, replace the 2 grade beams. The 2 grade beams would have an upgrade for seismic activity. And then you put your waterproof membrane and your backup sump pumps in the 3 bays, and you're off and running.
Okay. Oh boy.